Hello everybody. Today Hani is going to read Matilda by Roald Dahl and illustrated by Quentin Blake. Chapter 12 Lavender. In the middle of the first week of Matilda's first term, Miss Hani said to the class, "I have some important news for you, so listen carefully. You too, Matilda. Put the book down for a moment and pay attention." Small, eager faces looked up and listened. "It is the headmistress' custom," Miss Honey went on, "to take over a class for one period each week. She does this with every class in the school, and each class has a fixed day at a fixed time. Ours is always 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoons, immediately after lunch. So tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Miss Trunchbull will be taking over me for one lesson. I shall be here as well, of course, but only as a side witness. Is that understood?" "Yes, Miss Honey," they chirruped. "A word for warning to you all," Miss Honey said. "The headmistress is very strict and about everything. Make sure your clothes are clean, your faces are clean, and your hands are clean. Speak only when she is spoken to. When she asks you a question, stand up at once before you answer it. Never argue with her. Never answer her back. Never try to be funny. If you do, you will make her angry. And when the headmistress gets angry, you had better watch out." "You can say that again," Lavender murmured. "I am quite sure," Miss Honey said, "that she will be testing you what was you meant to have learned this week, which is your 2 times table. So I strongly advise you to swallow when you get some home tonight. Get your mother or father to hear you on it." "What else will she test on us?" someone asked. "Spelling," Miss Honey said. "Try to remember everything you have learned these last few days. And one more thing, a jug of water and a glass must always be on the table here when the headmistress comes in. She never takes a lesson without that. Now, who will be responsible for seeing that it's there?" "I will," Lavender said at once. "Very well, Lavender," Miss Honey said. "It will be your job to go to the kitchen and get the jug and fill it with water, then put it on the table here with a clean, empty glass just before the lesson starts." "What if the jug is not in the kitchen?" Lavender asked. "There are a dozen headmistress jugs and glasses in the kitchen," Miss Honey said. "They're used all over the school." "I won't forget," Lavender said. "I promise I won't." Already Lavender's scheming mind was going over the possibilities what the water jug had opened for her. She longed to do something truly heroic. She admired the older girl Hortensia to distraction for the daring deeds she had performed in the school. She also admired Matilda, who had sworn her secrecy about the parrot jug she had brought off at home. She also the great hair oil which she bleached her father's hair. It was her turn now to become heroine if she could come up with a brilliant plot. On the day from school that afternoon, she began to mull over the various possibilities, and when at last the germ of brilliant idea hit her, she began to expand on it and lay her plans the same kind care of the Duke of Wellington had done before the Battle of Waterloo. Immediately the enemy on the occasion was not Napoleon, but you would never have got anyone at Crunchum Hall to admit that the headmistress has a less formidable foe than the famous trenchman. Great skill will have to be exercised, Lavender told herself, and a great secretly observed if she had to come out of this exploit alive. There was a muddy pond at the bottom of Lavender's garden, and this was the home of a colony of newts. The newt, already fairly common in English ponds, is not often seen by ordinary people because it is a shy and murky creature. It is an incredibly ugly, gruesome-looking animal, rather like a baby crocodile, but with a shorter head. It is quite harmless but doesn't look it. It is about 6 inches long and very slimy, with a greenish-gray skin on top and an orange-colored belly underneath. It is, in fact, an amphibian, which can live in or out of water. That evening, Lavender went to the bottom of the garden and determined to catch a newt. They were swiftly moving animals was not easy to get hold of. She lay on the bank for a long time, waiting patiently until she spotted a whopper. Then, using her school hat as a net, she swooped up and caught it. She had lined her pencil box with pondweed ready to receive the creature, but she discovered it was not easy to get the newt out of the hat and into the pencil box. It wriggled and squirmed and quicksilver, and apart from that, the box was only just long enough to take it. When she did it in last, she had to be careful not to trap its tail in the lid when she slid it closed. A boy next called Rupert Entwistle had told her that if you chopped off a newt's tail, the tail stayed alive and grew into another newt 10 times bigger than the first one. It could be the size of an alligator. Lavender didn't quite believe that, but she was not prepared to risk it happening. Eventually, she managed to slide off the lid of the pencil box right home, and the newt was hers. Then, on second thought, she opened the lid just the tiniest fraction so that the creature could breathe. The next day, she carried her secret weapon to school in her satchel. She was tingling with excitement. She was longing to tell Matilda about her plan of battle. In fact, she wanted to tell the whole class, but she finally decided to tell nobody. It was better that way because then no one, even when she put under the most severe torture, would be able to name her as the culprit. Lunchtime came. Today it was sausages and baked beans, Lavender's favorite, but she couldn't eat it. "Are you feeling all right, Lavender?" Miss Hani asked from the head of the table. "I had such a huge breakfast," Lavender said. "I really couldn't eat a thing." Immediately after lunch, she dashed off to the kitchen and found one of the Trunchbull's famous jugs. It was a large, bulging thing made of blue-glazed pottery. Lavender filled it half full of water and carried it, together with a glass, into the classroom and set it on the teacher's table. The classroom was still empty. Quick as a flash, Lavender got her pencil box from her satchel and slid open the lid just a tiny bit. The newt was lying quite still. With great care, she held the box over the neck of the jug and pulled the lid fully open and tipped the newt in. There was a plop as it landed in the water. Then it thrashed around wildly for a few seconds before settling down. And now, to make the newt feel more at home, Lavender decided to give it all the pondweed from the pencil box as well. The deed was done. All was ready. Lavender put a pencil back into the rather damp pencil box and returned it to the correct place in her own desk. Then she went out and joined the others in the playground until it was time for the lesson to begin.